Hi, I'm George Carnell with Extra Credit, and I've asked Brandon Howe, who is a manager in the Oklahoma City area, to join the conversation. This is a Zoom podcast, so this is a little different than some of the podcasts that we've done in the past. And I wanted to get a perspective of how a manager looks at his new hires as well as his existing team through the Extra Credit program. But first, I thought it might be helpful if Brandon could talk a little bit about his team and what he does in the Oklahoma City area.
Well, George, thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited to be part of this program. So a little bit about myself. My name is Brandon Howe, and I'm a division manager for Heartland here in Oklahoma City. I've been with the organization for about 5 years now, and have been in a couple different roles. I was a relationship manager for some time, and then a territory manager. And then in late 2016, early 2017, was given the opportunity to build a team right here in Oklahoma City in the backyard of our national sales headquarters. Today, we are, one of the top 20 divisions in the company. We are a blue diamond division for Heartland, if you will, and have a really, really solid group of not only industry veterans, but new people, some people that are just learning payment processing and what it means to get to be part of this fantastic industry.
Well, it's good that there are new and there are experienced folks, because the enthusiasm and the experience just helps one another. So it really is a good mesh. Let's talk first of all about the new folks. How do you use Extra Credit for new hires? When do you approach them about Extra Credit? How has that worked with your relationship and guidance that you give new hires?
Well, I kind of take it on a case-by-case basis, George. There have been people on my team that I've hired specifically because of Extra Credit. And then there are people on my team that feel very passionately about something, right? And then there's some people on the team that they know nothing about Extra Credit or payment processing, and we take each scenario in a case-by-case basis. And it's usually sometime in their first 30 to 45 days when I expose them to the ability for any merchant to donate to any 501c anything that they feel compelled to. That's a conversation that we have. It just usually comes up organically as I see who they're talking to and what their opportunities look like.
When a new person is getting initially involved with the payment industry, it can be daunting. What are some of the benefits of starting conversations for staying with new hires that Extra Credit brings?
Oh my gosh, it makes the conversation just much more simple to talk to a business owner about. It's so easy for a new hire to get lost in the sea of this point of sale integration, that point of sale integration, or these basis points, or this PCI thing, where if we can just take them out of that and get them in a place where you're talking to a business owner about something they're passionate about, something that they feel strongly about. It's a much more emotional conversation instead of a tactical sales conversation. So it really, I preach a lot through my leadership of just keep it simple. And it really allows them to do just that and focus on emotions instead of, pennies and percents.
Well, certainly beginning the conversation and being able to control the conversation. Has that given your new hires more confidence in dealing with merchants? Has the certainly there are a number of different partnerships that you have, but has this been of some help to the new hires as they have started the relationship with a merchant?
Absolutely. I mean, it's very, to your comment earlier of how daunting this industry can seem and how many moving pieces. And it's easy to have a tremendous amount of confidence talking to a business owner, and you only have to ask the question. Oh, I noticed the big check that you're holding there in the wall. Tell me about that organization. Your part as the salesperson is done at that point. You're just listening and you're along the ride, with that business owner. So it boosts confidence tremendously to be able to have a conversation about something that isn't complex. It's almost always, George, very interesting, very fascinating. Why that business owner feels charitable toward something. So
it sounds like from your conversation that relationship manager or SPA can get pretty close to being on the same side of the table with that merchant, as opposed to being across from them talking price, because now you're talking about something that merchant is passionate about.
Absolutely. In sales, the quicker you can move it to an emotional decision, from a tactical business decision, it removes so many objections and obstacles that you would normally have to overcome that you just simply don't. They're already donating money to something. And if they can do that without it costing them anything additional, you're working on a totally different part of the decision making, the decision maker's brain than the tactical, let's save 0.5%. Absolutely.
So from initiating and controlling the conversation to the close, really you can talk about who the check needs to be made payable to. It would seem to me the close is even simpler with the ExtraCredit concept.
So I have a good friend named John Davis that early on, when I was exposed to or introduced really to yourself in the ExtraCredit donations program, I had a conversation with John, and the first thing he told me was, it's not a very good closing gimmick, if you will. But presented in the right way. And, if a business owner could feel the same passion that the seller has to be able to help them donate to something, the close just happens. You almost rarely don't have to ask for it. And if you couple it with, they're probably going to get a lot more resources from our company, for their dollar, it really becomes just a no-brainer to just move forward.
Well, we've done a good job of talking about how a management deals with new hire and how ExtraCredit can help the new hire. Talk about the concept now for some of your experienced team members. How have you introduced or encouraged them to become involved with asking their merchants about what they're passionate about?
Every person, at Heartland, we call them veterans, or tenured industry person. They're constantly looking for the next tool in their toolbox to get to have a conversation that they might not normally get to. And it's really through setting down and understanding who that salesperson likes talking to, and helping them expand their minds to, have you noticed a trend? Are there multiple businesses that you've spoken with that are part of something, a charity or an association, or it's really through a lot of conversation to meet that seller, where they're at, and help them unlock their mind to the idea that they might be able to go talk to some businesses that they normally couldn't, because we're offering them something that they've heard it all, George, from all of our competitors. Business owners hear from our salespeople in our industry a lot, and to be able to walk in, and it just changes the conversation completely, even for a veteran. I could have somebody that's been here for 10 years that could feel really, really maybe a little jaded or burnt out. And you sit down with them and say, well, give me the names of some of these businesses that you've never been able to have a conversation with, or to move off high center. How well do you know them? Are they involved in anything in the community? It really allows for a different conversation, and a different inroad to some opportunities that even some of the best people in this industry would not be able to open that door. So
that's a real interesting thought, that there are merchants who would not have listened to a presentation, but because of sharing their passion about something, all of a sudden the conversation just happens, and then the next thing we know, they're closed. So talk about how important, at least at this time, and maybe in the near future, talking to a nonprofit might be about how ExtraCredit could help that nonprofit.
Money is going to be tight in the nonprofit world for a while, and they're probably not going to see the same level of help, or just for math, donations from their normal contributors. So being able to sit down and have a conversation with that nonprofit and say, hey, who are some of your biggest acting partners? Can you help me have a conversation with them? I can show them a way to still be able to give, to still be able to support you without it costing them a dime. Because I know, Mr. Nonprofit Chairperson, you need the help, and I want to help. It's a very direct conversation in my mind.
I would think there would be a number of nonprofits who themselves may do processing, or who may outsource their payroll. And this would be an easy way for them to listen to a new strategy to gain additional revenue. Would you say that would be a way that the sales first, the veterans and the new hires might work in your region?
Absolutely. Being able to walk into, thinking about a nonprofit, being able to, handle the normal donations that are coming in, and part of it going to their charity. I don't think you would have anybody say, oh no, we don't want to find a way to have a little extra money in our bank account. I couldn't agree with you more. One thing I'd like to add to the conversation, George, is, being a payment processing salesperson, whether it's payroll or credit card, it's hard. It's a grind. And to be able to have the, the driving mechanism of attachment to community makes it not a job. If you're a seller and you have this great opportunity to help a lot of businesses give, it's really easy to have a lot of conversations and to not hear all the no's it takes to find the business that says, you know what, I like what this person's about. And then it becomes something much larger than money or savings. And as a Heartland sales rep, to be rooted in your community and really an advocate for nonprofits and businesses alike, it's just this really interesting attachment to community that I think is one of the most powerful pieces of the program and our partnership. I don't know a better way to really get that across, but waking up in the morning and thinking you have to go talk to 40 business owners to find a deal versus waking up in the morning and thinking that you need to go talk to 40 business owners to help your favorite nonprofit, that's a different thing. And I'm real proud that we get the chance to do that with ExtraCredit.
Well, Brandon, I appreciate your time in coming and sharing the perspective as a division manager on how ExtraCredit has worked both on the new hire side as well as the veteran side, and the open doors that it might bring to new merchants because we're focusing on how they can help their community. So thank you so much for your time and your wisdom in speaking today.
George, you're very welcome. I've always been a passionate believer in this program, and I'm just excited to have this platform and grateful for the chance to speak with you today.